So, today's topic is the power of music in dementia care, and we thank all of you for joining us. These complimentary webinars are brought to you through a collaboration of sponsorship with O'Connor Mortuary, Care Choices, Hospice and Palliative Services, Caring Companions at Home, and Alzheimer's Orange County. And my name is Kim Bailey, and I'm a gerontologist here at Alzheimer's Orange County, and I will be your host today. Our sponsors are providing these webinars to you as a service to the community on topics that are beneficial for anyone who cares for and works with older adults. We hope you find today's presentation especially meaningful. Our presenter is going to be Justin Russo. And before I introduce him, I'll review what you need to know to get your CE credit. So, CE credit is available for RCFE administrators, licensed RNs and LVNs, and for LMFT, LCSW, LEP, and LPCC professionals through CAMP and the BBS. You must be online for the full 60 minutes and have access to both audio and visual on your computer. If you want CE credit, do not share your link with anyone. It's your unique record of attendance. If you share your link or use someone else's link, you will not be able to obtain your CE credit. Please answer this series of poll questions immediately. This is proof of your active attendance. If for any reason you have difficulty submitting your answers, simply put your response into the chat box. But we must have a response from you for each poll question, again, to make sure that you get your CE credit. There is a survey that you can complete immediately as you exit the webinar. You will only receive a survey link by email if you don't complete the survey when exiting the webinar. The email with the survey link is sent out 24 hours after the end of the webinar, and this link, again, is unique to you and your attendance, so do not share it with others. A certificate of completion is going to be sent out to you by email within 10 days as long as you've fulfilled all the other CE requirements. Some basics for everyone. Your mic and video are automatically disabled and will remain so throughout the presentation. However, that doesn't mean that you won't have the opportunity to ask our wonderful presenter questions about the presentation by typing those questions into the chat box. We'll hold them for the end, and then we'll have a brief Q&A for everyone. Okay, what else? With all that said, I'm pleased to tell you a little bit about our speaker today. He is Justin Russo, and he serves as the Director of Programming at the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function in Mount Vernon, New York, where he oversees strategic planning, program development, and stakeholder engagement for the organization. In this role, he's responsible for designing and implementing IMNF training programs, including best practices from music therapy for using music in senior wellness and healthcare, which is based on the book Music Has Power in Senior Wellness and Healthcare by IMNF Executive Director Dr. Concita Domeno. Tomeno, excuse me. Justin collaborates with interdisciplinary teams to ensure that IMNF's educational offerings reflect the latest advancements in clinical music therapy practices informed by neuroscience. In addition, Justin leads the Music and Memory Certification Program, which empowers caregivers to use personalized music as a therapeutic tool to enhance quality of life for individuals living with dementia and other cognitive challenges. Since 2015, he's played a key role in expanding support to over 5,800 certified organizations across the U.S. and internationally. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our esteemed speaker, Justin Russo. Justin, thank you for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Kim, thanks to you and Lauren for having me on. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. If you haven't heard of the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function or Music and Memory, which is a service of the IMNF, maybe you've heard of the film Alive Inside, a story of music and memory that was filmed around our organization and features a lot of our work. It won a Sundance Award for Best Picture in 2014. So this is harnessing the power of music in dementia care. Over the course of the next 45 minutes, I'm going to talk a lot about the different types of music engagement. I'm going to talk about the value of listening to favorite music, especially for older adults with dementia. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the practical tools that you can use to support someone living with dementia using music, and then also leave you with some resources so that you could practice this at home. So I'd like to start off with a video. I mentioned the movie Alive Inside. This is one of the most popular clips from the movie. It's been viewed over 40 million times around the world, if you can believe it. This is Henry's story, and it's a wonderful showcasing of how music is much more than just relaxing. Music can also be used to boost cognition, to call someone forward, and this is the beginning of the therapeutic process if you're using music. Let's take a closer look.
I have one resident that barely opened her eyes. She didn't respond. As much as I tried, I knew her for 2 years. No matter what I tried, massage wouldn't work, nothing worked. So when we got introduced to the iPods and the family told me the things that she liked, it was amazing once we put the iPod on her. She started shaking her feet. She started moving her head. Her son was just amazed. Okay, can we stop? Because now I'm getting OR. I'm seeing her all over again.
We really want to learn what music someone's going to really recognize and enjoy.
One of the residents is a resident who likes gospel music. Church was all his life. And I think that we can start with him.
Henry, speak to me. I want to hear your voice. Can you talk to me? So let me hear you. Tell me your full name.
Henry has dementia and he needs total assistance with all his activities of daily living.
Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
Huh?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm fine. Wait.
Who am I?
Huh?
Who am I? I'm your daughter.
Daughter?
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Wait a minute. I don't know. I got so many. I don't know. God
You
knows.
got so many?
Yes.
Maybe granddaughters.
Well, that's what I mean. Now, this, I don't.
Okay, it's Cherry. How long has he been in the nursing home? Approximately 10 years. It affects him greatly because he was always, fun-loving, singing, every occasion he would come out with a song. I remember as a child, he used to walk us down the street, me and my brother, and he would stop and do Singing in the Rain. He would have us jumping and swinging around poles. He was, he was good. He was always into music, always loved singing, dancing.
You want your music now? Let's try your music, okay? And then you tell me if it's too loud or not, okay?
Music is inseparable from emotion. So it's not just a physiological stimulus. If it works at all, it will call the whole person, the many different parts of their brain and the memories and emotions which go with it.
I'm supposed to sing with this?
You can if you like. first met him, he was very isolated, and he used to always sit on the unit with his head like this. He didn't really talk to much people. And then when I introduced the music to him, this is his reaction ever since.
Henry waking up did something to all of us. Everyone in the room felt it.
The philosopher Kant once called music the quickening art, and Henry is being quickened, he's being brought to life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the music for 1 second, okay? Just to ask you a few questions. Okay?
How awake was he?
I'm gonna give it back to you.
Was he still lost in his dementia? Or had the music in some way changed that?
Henry,
Yeah.
do you like the iPod? Do you like the music you're hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about your music.
Well, I don't have one, I mean.
Ask yes or no questions. Do you like music?
Yeah, I'm crazy about music. And you play beautiful music, beautiful sound. Beautiful.
Did you play music when you did you like music when you were young?
Yes, I went to big dances and things.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
Well, I guess, well, Cab Calloway was my #1 band guy I like. They did the holy, the holly, the hilly, the holy, the milly, the holly.
Henry,
Yeah.
what was your favorite song?
Oh, I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me with plenty of snow, mistletoe, present wrapped around your tree. Ow, Christmas Eve will carry me where that love light beam.
Henry,
Yeah,
what was the favorite part of your life? What was your favorite part of your life?
bro, my life. Part of my life was riding a bicycle, grocery boy.
What did you like about riding a bicycle?
That's where I made my money.
So in some sense, Henry has reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
What does music do to you?
Give me the feeling of love. No man. Figure right now the world need to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music here. Beautiful, oh, lovely. And I feel the band of love, the dream. The Lord came to me, made me holy. I'm a holy man. So he gave me these sounds. I'll just say, I meet you. Let me see. Rosalie, won't you love me? Rosalie, won't you be sweet and kind?
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know about you, but I could listen to Henry talk about Cab Calloway all day long. Really a special guy, and such an amazing example of how music can restore someone's cognition. But what you don't see in this video is that someone took the time to find the songs that would trigger memories for Henry and call about that response. That's why we see that response from Henry, because they're using music-triggered memories to initiate sequences within the brain. Very special songs from a person's teenage years. We know from a cognitive standpoint that the songs we listen to when we're teens really matters. So I want to ask you this question. What are those songs for you? What are the songs that bring you back? I'll give you an example from my own life. So in the year 1990, I'm dating myself a little bit here. In the year 1990, I was allowed to go to the Dutchess County Fair for the first time alone. And this was a big deal. So I have this fond memory of arriving at the gates around dusk and seeing the lights and walking through the gates with hundreds of people, most of them my age, hearing the sounds and the bells and the whistles of the rides and smelling all the different foods, and walking through this corridor, and then seeing in the distance this big Viking ship swinging back and forth, and it was a ride with these screaming kids on it, and you know, and blaring above it all was the song "Sweet Child of Mine" by Guns N' Roses. Again, I'm dating myself a little bit here. Um, and I have this firm memory of walking into the fair, and whenever I listen to that song now, I'm right back where I was at 15, walking through those gates again, just feeling like my life was really starting for the first time, was really starting to open up. And that's a really wonderful memory that I can go back to anytime I want listening to that song. And I'm sure you've got songs like that too. We all do, and that's what matters. So, again, what happened in the Henry video is somebody took the time to find those songs. Now, why do those favorite songs matter? Well, studies show that the music we love the most, or we fall in love with when we're roughly between the ages of 12 and 25, our formative years, really cements itself in all these different parts of our brain. As you can see on the screen, it hits every single part of the brain, including the parts of the brain that have to do with emotional memory. There's a lot of emotional memory being generated when we listen to those songs at that point in our lives. And that makes sense when you think about it. We're coming of age. Everything's super important when we're teens, right? And so there's a lot of emotional, and it's being embedded in these different areas of the brain. Now, this has profound implications. This has profound implications for people with dementia because years later, we know that you can initiate those memories. You can trigger those memories by using the same songs, the same studio recordings. And if you play them to someone in the same way that it was played to Henry, you can initiate sequences in the brain and begin activity that they couldn't otherwise do on their own because of the loss due to dementia or other types of cognitive loss. So in an amazing way, like Dr. Oliver Sacks said in the video, you can, if it works at all, it'll call the whole person forward. That's what happens when you stimulate a person's cognition in that way. Okay, so we're ready for our
Okay,
first poll
everybody. Oh,
question.
sorry. Yes, time for our first poll question. And it is familiar, meaningful music taps emotional memory. Attendees, is that true or false? Familiar, meaningful music taps into emotional memory. Go ahead and quickly respond. And again, if you're having any issues at all with the poll, you can put your answer into the chat. Familiar, meaningful music taps emotional memory. True or false? Okay. I think we'll just give it one more little minute. And let's go ahead and release the results. It looks like 100% got it right. So good job, audience, and we'll turn it back over to you, Justin.
All right. Not a surprise, everybody got that one right. Good job, everybody. So emotional memory endures. And this again is because of the way that thanks to the wonders of neuroplasticity, right? Or rather, our brain's ability to respond to external stimuli. It's not at its height at that point in our lives. It's really at its height when we're much younger, right? We're like sponges when we're infants and toddlers, but it's still pretty high, and there's a lot of emotional memory being generated, and that gives it its lasting power. So even years later, if someone is in their 80s or 90s, you can still use music as an external stimuli to initiate these sequences within the brain. Pretty amazing. Now, this graphic is from a study that was done in the Times a few years ago. The author was trying to figure out, if it was really true that we all loved music from our teenage years. And so they looked at Spotify data in the aggregate. And sure enough, all of us predictably return to the music that captured us during our adolescence. I know it's true for me. Maybe it's true for you too. Peak influence age 13 and 14, so approximately that age. I want to point out that it doesn't end after our formative years end. It's just really at its height at this point in our lives. So when we're talking about finding the songs that trigger memories for people with dementia, we focus on these age groups. Now, okay, so you know, say we've got a situation where we're working with someone, an older adult, and we've triggered their cognition and they're much more aware. They're able to converse and socialize. On some occasions, they could, um, recognize family members. We know that this doesn't last forever. Generally, it lasts about 45 minutes to 2 hours. But during that window of opportunity, you can support specific activities of daily living. In fact, you can support a lot of different areas of their life. If you use the music in the morning, you could support their morning routine. If you use it before meal times, you could support their eating habits and their overall nutrition. It can be, if you think about it, if you use it proactively and consistently in advance of the activities you're trying to boost, you can get ahead of anxiety. You can get ahead of those moments during the day that cause distress. If someone's transitioning between environments, you could play the music before they go for that walk, or they are if they go to a medical appointment and they're in a loud waiting room, which can be easily overwhelming for someone with dementia. It can usually make the difference. It can help to avoid sundowning in the afternoon. It's great for mood, putting a smile on someone's face. If nothing else, you're giving them back their favorite songs, right? It helps with sleep. It also helps with rejection of care because they're more aware of their caregiver and the support that's being offered to them. It's also great for any type of therapy. Therapists have remarked that if you boost someone's cognition in this way before listening or going through therapy sessions, they have more focus during the session and they tend to get through the entire session, which is key.
Okay, let's go for our second poll question, audience, and it is music has no effect on hydration in someone living with dementia. Is that true, audience? Music has no effect on hydration in someone living with dementia. We'll have everybody record their answer. And we'll give it just another minute. Okay, let's go ahead and release those results. And it looks like the vast majority got that one right. Thank you, audience, and back to you, Justin.
And don't feel bad if you got that one wrong. I probably could have talked about nutrition a little bit more. We do know that if you boost someone's cognition before meal times, yes, it's much easier to keep them hydrated. And studies have shown that they're better able to recognize caregivers, and that usually their nutrition studies do better. They perform much better, and that's for food intake and for hydration as well. So I want to show you another video. This is filmed on our senior campus in Mount Vernon, New York, which is in Westchester, New York, if you're familiar with the area. This is a video that really breaks down how you can go from finding that right music to using it to support specific activities of daily living. Let's take a look.
So what separates using music as an intervention tool versus for entertainment or for relaxation is that you can achieve specific outcomes. When you boost someone's cognition through music-triggered memories.
We can use music of personal importance to help not only stimulate areas of the brain that is still available and functional, but enhance the stimulation of those areas so the person is able to constantly recall and constantly connect.
just seeing how music awakens these areas of the brain, how music can connect and bring people together is amazing.
Overall, it's a great non-pharmacological approach for any type of clinical care, but it also improves their quality of life with minimal invasiveness.
So one of the important things to remember is to always use the music consistently. A consistent application of the music will yield the best results.
If that person is engaged consistently using music that is meaningful to them, that is targeted in a specific way, that has a therapeutic intent, therapeutic purpose, that skills are improved and the person does change. If a person has sleep disturbances or agitation or wandering, we know that personalized music and music that allows that person to feel comforted and safe actually allows them to sleep and have less instances of agitation.
A lot of times if you put some soothing music on, it just helps them to transition into going into sleep, you know, getting ready for bed, and it changes their moods.
So if you're doing this for the first time, it's important to remember to use the music proactively in advance of any activity you're trying to support. For example, if you're trying to support someone's nutrition, if you're trying to help them maintain a healthy weight, what you can do is play the music about 30 minutes before meal times. And what that will do is it will boost their cognition, and that allows them to chew, to recognize food, in some cases even swallow.
Not only are they aware that it's mealtime, but if a CNA needs to assist them in eating, that they're able to engage in that. In fact, we've seen from nutrition studies that the person actually eats more and does better.
And again, all this comes from triggering the brain in advance of the activity you're trying to support.
When music is used consistently and purposefully, that we can impact the ease at which a CNA can care for somebody, so the person is more relaxed. There's a connection that's made, and that CNA is not a threat to the individual. They're actually a partner and a friend.
Seeing how music can change the mood of a room, seeing how excited they are to be with me musically is more than I could ask for.
You did it. Yeah, you did it. You're always singing. That's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, Jim. What a gorgeous day. It makes me want to sing. Really? Oh, what a beautiful morning. You have such a beautiful voice. Oh, thank you. Oh, that feels good? More better. Thank you.
Music reduces anxiety, it improves the cognition and the ability for somebody to do something that they might have forgotten, their mind might have forgotten how to do so. And being able to provide them with music that stimulates their memory and brings them calm and brings them ease, it really helps them to feel that comfort in what could be a very gray and dark day for them and brings them light.
If you're a caregiver at home, think of music as a tool that you can use anytime to support your loved one's quality of life. Creating moments of relaxation, not just for your loved one, but for caregivers too. Music is a wonderful respite tool.
We encourage caregivers to find ways of using personalized music in those moments where they really need to have peace for themselves.
It's a great opportunity for you to get things done because they'll be engaged, they'll be enjoying the music, and they'll be better able to recognize cues from you and the care that you're giving them.
When we put music on, everybody comes alive. People start dancing. It just brings such joy to everybody.
Music is just universal. Even if you don't speak the language of the music, it moves you.
It puts you in the mood. It makes you feel good in your soul.
You see people join together and how that really shapes a community so that people trust each other and they can continue to build this relationship for many years to come.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I really like the focus of that video on relationship building. I think that's really an important part of caring for older adults. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Again, it's really a focus on some of the concrete ways that you can use music and how you can support someone's quality of life just by supporting their daily activities. So how do you get there? Well, at Music and Memory, we have a process we call becoming a music detective. And this is really finding the music that is really meaningful, that's really going to light someone up, that's going to trigger memories and boost their cognition, right? The start of the process. So if you're new to this, think of this as a series of maybe 2 to 3 conversations where you're listening to music together and you're asking questions. We have a whole guide, or a form rather, that asks all the right questions. And if anyone is interested in getting access to our music detective form, we can provide that for you. But it asks questions like, what was your wedding song? Did you go to dances? What were your favorite radio stations? All the questions that help you solve that musical favorites mystery. If someone is not able to converse with you, which happens depending on where they are in the aging process, we always say, that's where the detective part comes in. Speak with family, speak with friends, look through record collections, try to figure out at least a genre to start with, and then you could start winnowing it down from there to a list of about 10 to 15 songs. That's really the goal. You're just focusing on the songs that really matter for triggering memories. So responses to the right song can be immediate and include tapping fingers, laughing and singing along, or telling a story. But responses can also take time, depending on where the person is in the aging process. So it could take as long as 45 minutes for their brain to catch up and to show really a response. So we always say, it's okay to play a song twice if you think you're onto something. We also really believe firmly in tracking response, and this is especially for residential care because we really want music to be a part of the care plan. We want it to be talked about in care plan meetings. So, documenting how it does work as a non-pharmacological intervention, right, and an alternative to antipsychotic and anti-anxiety medication and other pain meds and things like that, is a really important part of starting to change the culture around senior care, right? I'm wearing my advocacy hat when I say that, But we really want this to be talked about in care plan meetings. We want people to say, well, have we tried music with Mrs. Smith, if somebody's isolated and aloof, maybe music will spark more social engagement, Why medicate them when you can try other things first? That's our philosophy. And we really think that this has a lot of benefits for participants. We also think it has a lot of benefits for caregivers, too. A lot of studies, a lot of research has been done on the positive effects of music for older adults, triggering cognition and things like that, helping with movement rehabilitation and speech rehabilitation and all that. But finally, research is starting to catch up about how it impacts staff in a positive way, too, at senior care sites. And we've known this anecdotally for years, that it really boosts morale because it gives them a real tool that they can use. Connecting with the people they support is a big challenge in senior care. And it's really easy to get disconnected from the people you're supporting. But having real tools like this one can really make the difference. And so that leads to greater job satisfaction, a better sense for identity within the job and purpose, and lower burnout overall. It's a difficult job being a senior care, direct care staff. Um, and so tools like this can really make the difference.
Okay, we have a new poll question, and it is music can lower levels of stress and emotional exhaustion for caregivers. Is that true or false? Go ahead and quickly weigh in. Music can lower stress and emotional exhaustion for caregivers. Okay. All right. Well, looks like 100% of you got this right. So good job, audience. And back to you, Justin.
Thank you. We also know it's excellent for family caregivers too. And in a second, we're going to watch a video all about family caregivers and the benefits it offers them. But we know that it gives them a chance to have a break, to have moments just for them. And if you're here today and you're a family caregiver, we know how difficult your job is and how important it is for you to have tools to connect with your loved one as well. One thing I always like to point out when it comes to music engagement, particularly favorite songs, you know, spending time together is really part of the gift. There's nothing more person-centered than getting to know someone through the music that they love the most, right? Getting to know someone's humanity in that way. It's really a beautiful process. So we always say this is the gift that gives twice, right? You know, not only are you boosting their cognition and supporting these different daily outcomes, but you've taken the time to get to know them and what makes them who they really are. And that is a profound gift to give to anybody. So let's take a look at that family caregiver video.
Personalized music is a profound gift for families at home with their relative with Alzheimer's or dementia. To see their relative come to life. There is a reawakening.
The music program has been a great thing for me and for James. Like a glow, a happiness.
It's a tool to create joy. It's something that both of you can engage in and create a safe and secure moment in time.
Music and memory. It's afforded me a luxury, helping me with my wife. She puts the headphones on, she's more mellow, she's sitting down, she's humming with the songs. It's emotional.
Music and memory at home is a valuable tool for caregivers that will enable you to stay at home and function as independently as possible.
Oh, you were hungry.
Fostering independence is the most important part for these families. Not only do I feel fortunate that we have become certified in music and memory and to be able to do it in the center, but be able to offer this experience to caregivers trying to keep an individual in their home rather than placing them in a facility.
Now, you want to take your coat off?
Yeah.
We want them to have the best quality of life that they can.
He's more contented and, like I said, more calm. He'll start a conversation.
Oh, yeah, here we got it.
He's more aware of his environment.
Most people would prefer to remain in their own home in a familiar environment with things that they know and love around them.
It could be something as simple as a picture on a wall.
Wow, I'm surprised at all these things.
Music and memory is wonderful medicine. Medicine without a pill. In the brain, music can bypass so many different things.
Here, Tom.
The brain is able to follow commands.
Got it?
Yeah.
The body is able to do things that normally, if dementia, they wouldn't be able to do.
Come on, let's go.
What?
Let's go. We're going this way.
Any caregiver out there who needs a little bit extra help in any way, it's a great tool. The music helps him a lot in public to help calm him down. Sometimes walking is a little funky, but even his walking was great.
Music and memory makes it a lot easier for the caregiver at home
with eating, dressing, sleeping, showering.
We're gonna go in the kitchen, okay? Yeah, good.
The music is awesome.
Okay, Tata.
I could put him at the table with the earphones on. Music will keep him more engaged, and I can go do stuff around the house.
Families who use a music and memory program are able to get a little break, which gives them more time to attend to their own needs.
Have a seat. With music and memory, I can be more relaxed. I'm just going to clean up some things here, okay? I can do chores around the house and not have to worry about her. She can even sit with me and listen to the music while she's got the headphones on.
What's the song?
To love.
Mm-hmm. Will you still love me tomorrow?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Will you still love me tomorrow? Shooby-doo, shooby-doo. Before music, it was difficult to leave James alone. You okay? You comfortable?
Yeah, I'm okay.
But now I know he's okay because he's enjoying the music, right?
Personalized music connects us to that essential sense of our being.
With the music, I think it gives him a self-being that he's contributing to himself. He has more humor now.
What happened? What'd I do?
You feel like he's a person.
The music is really helping her and me and just having a decent relationship.
You are my husband.
Yes, I am your husband.
All right, Elvis.
She took care of me for close to 40 years. Now it's my turn.
Music makes him really more Walter. I mean, Walter emerges when the music goes on. It's made a difference in my life, in his life, in our life.
I hope you enjoyed that. I like that quote at the end. Walter emerges when the music comes on. I think that says it all. So we're wrapping up pretty soon. I do want to focus a little bit on some of the research and some of the resources available. So this is a major study that was done on the effects of personalized music, this process we've been talking about. This is over 4,100 residents in 250 California nursing homes. This is back in 2020. And look at these amazing declines. Use of antipsychotic and anti-anxiety medications down significantly. Depressive symptoms down significantly. Reported chronic pain. Distress behaviors down by 20%. Now, if you're a caregiver here today, a professional caregiver, you know the significance of that number because you know how easily distress can compound into a fall or a fight. So it can not only change, so music is great for not only helping quality of life, but it also helps quality of care and the culture of care at an organization. So this is per quarter for people with dementia using music and memory. So music and memory's been very lucky to have been able to certify over 5,800 organizations. We're in every state. And thanks to state government leaders, 29 states have made music and memory part of policy, which is to say they either highly recommend or at some point they mandated the use of this approach. So we've come a long way since our humble beginnings back in 2010. But just to put that in perspective, we're still only reaching about 4% of the people in residential care and an even smaller percentage of people aging in place at home. So we've got a long way to go. But with your help, we can get there. So how do we make that change? How do we make it that this is a universal part of care? Well, we know that frontline care staff are really the key to this. And that's why it's our mission at the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function to create tools and scalable models like music and memory that support them. There are only 11,000, if you can believe this, board certified music therapists in the United States. That's not enough to serve the millions of people with dementia. So we have to empower the frontline care staff, the nurses, the nursing aides, the volunteers. If they have the tools, we could make the difference. But that's what's needed, and that's why we focus so much on training staff. I also want to point out that just listening to music is really beneficial for helping to prevent and forestall dementia as much as possible. Just listening to music. This came out just a couple of months ago, and it's even more so if you play a musical instrument. So for all you audiophiles out there, this is good news for you. It's going to do you some good that you love music all this time. But something to keep in mind. And finally, we're also seeing studies on the return on investment for music. This came out last summer from the NeuroArts Blueprint Initiative. For every dollar spent on music engagement and music therapy, you see a $2.40 return. That's big news. You know, we've known that this works anecdotally for years, but we didn't know that there was a business case for it. So this is proof, finally, that there is a business case for music therapy and music engagement in senior care. A lot of this has to do with downstream costs. If you improve someone's quality of life, they're going to spend less time in hospitals. They're going to spend less time in short-term rehab and outpatient visits and things like that. It makes sense when you think about it. Downstream costs go down when quality of life goes up. Now, we have a wonderful free guide. If you're interested in doing this, just go to musicandmemory.org or go to musicandmemory.org/playlist, and you can get access to everything we talked about today. You can learn about the science behind music in the brain and why listening to favorite songs during our formative years can trigger cognition. You can learn in the guide also more tips for supporting someone's quality of life on the day-to-day, right? Avoiding distress, distressful moments, avoiding sundowning, things like that. Or maybe a slower, quieter playlist to help someone sleep. And also just really about how to make music a daily part of care. We've also got a number of other trainings available and a lot of great videos, some of which you've seen are available for free on our website. So I just want to encourage everybody to check that out if you're interested. And always feel free to contact us. You know, we'd love to hear from you. We also have some great success stories up on our website. Just go to musicandmemory.org/stories to see all these wonderful stories that show how music made a difference for someone living with dementia or some type of physical or cognitive loss. And as I said, you could always get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. My phone number's up on the screen. Our email's up on the screen. You can go to musicandmemory.org, or you can go to our parent organization, the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, IMNF.org. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. If you're offering music to someone that you love or someone you support and you just want a little advice on how to improve the process, definitely be in touch. We'll share as many resources as we can and try and leave you in the best possible place to move forward. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks again for having me on today, folks. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, and this is typically the time that we reserve for questions, but I'm not seeing many questions. I'm seeing just accolades. Everyone is just so bolstered by this presentation, Justin. If you look into the chat box, you can see many complimentary remarks.
Great.
Thank you for all the information, all the hard work that you do. Thank you for this webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day. People wanting to know how to start the programs, which you just gave all of that wonderful information. Keep in mind, folks, that you have the slides, and so you have this information about how to get started. I remembered that our organization hosted a premiere in 2013 at a local theater, and we had senior providers who came, and we had tables with lots of good information, and everybody fell in love with Henry, and we talked about him for years. So here's a couple of questions. I have a question. You talked about using music as sort of a preemptive strike, and how it can make things easier if you do this in advance. What about if you haven't done that in advance and you're seeing like a behavior or something? Can you talk about the use of music as an intervention in some type of problem behavior?
So that's a great question, and that's a different approach entirely. What we're doing with this music and memory approach is we are prompting the brain in advance, we're boosting cognition, and we're helping the person get through daily activities. And the idea is that you can usually avoid distress before it happens. You have that window of opportunity. Um, it will still work if you use the music after or in the middle of distress, as long as it hasn't compounded or just is too much for them. The thing about distress is it can be very easily overwhelming for a person, and it can take them a long time to calm down. You may need to do more than music. I do want to point out for severe agitation, and in some cases for severe chronic pain, music's not going to cut it, right? We always say it's important to understand the source of the distress before moving forward with any type of musical intervention. And certainly if someone's dealing with an acute issue, like I think the one you're framing, it's really important to understand why they're in distress. Um, because it could be anything. They could have broken a hip the night before or something, and just be living with that pain, and that's where that's coming from. If someone wakes in the middle of the night or goes into distress in the middle of the night, you need to understand what's going on. Are they dehydrated? Have they been in the same position too long? It's easy to say, "Oh, put the music on," but it's important to understand why it's happening. Because when it comes to pain, especially, music is good for mild pain, but certainly not severe. So, if you know the situation and you know that music would calm them down and there's nothing else really going on, definitely try the music in an acute situation. A good song will turn anybody around, especially if you're there enjoying it with them. Um, It is often sometimes the case that a favorite song can elicit a sad memory. And it's worth mentioning in this context too. I was working with someone who got up and left the room when we were listening to his favorite songs, or what I thought were his favorite songs. And it turns out that it reminded him of the war and a friend that he had lost in the war. And it was very stressful for him, and he went into distress. But it turned out to be, in the long run, a cathartic experience. He came back and we had a discussion about it, and the song didn't bother him after that anymore. It became more. We talked about the positive memories with his friend, and it became more about, over time, about those memories instead. So it had a good ending. But those are some considerations when you're using music. And Kim, thanks for bringing that up. That's a good point.
Thank you. Justin, could I ask you to go to the last slide for just a minute? Because I do want to take a moment to once again thank our wonderful sponsors for this presentation. Thank you, O'Connor Mortuary, Care Choices, Hospice and Palliative Services, Caring Companions at Home, and of course, Alzheimer's Orange County. I want to also remind everyone, as I do every time we have a webinar, of the importance of being aware of implicit biases or just unconscious stereotypes as we care for others. A best practice is a person-centered approach, just like the one that Justin talked about, where each person that we care for is viewed as someone with unique needs and preferences. And of course, we treat all of our residents and family members with dignity and respect, even when they're very different from ourselves. If we always listen carefully and respectfully so that we understand their perspectives, values, and preferences, we can build trust and provide the highest quality of care.